as Colombia beats Argentina in Barranquilla by a final score of 2-1, getting some measure of vengeance for the defeat they suffered in the Copa America final just a few months ago. As we take a look at the qualifying table, Colombia staying unbeaten through their 8 games played so far, now just 2 points back of your table leaders, the defending Copa and World Cup champions, Argentina. Ale, where do we start here? With the win for Colombia or the loss for Argentina? What's the bigger headline?
I think it's a win for Colombia. And I believe that Colombia did a lot of things well in this game, and particularly speeding up the game once they got into the attacking half and forcing Argentina to defend. And the involvement of James Rodriguez, and we have talked about this many a times, how do you use him and how do you take advantage of the things that he can still do well for you? But while I think I can appreciate Colombia's performance, it goes hand in hand with the lack of attention to detail by Argentina and things that we usually would say, you know, Argentina is the sort of team that doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And if you are defending a set piece against Colombia, and Colombia sends 2 players for their corner kick, and you only send 1, and one of those players, oh, by the way, that Colombia has out there is James Rodriguez, you may want to stay with a guy that can serve a ball. Argentina doesn't send out 2 players, they send 1, and then Rodrigo de Paul makes a decision, I'm going to leave James Rodriguez open, and he's going to stand the ball up in the back post. Now, that's one part of the play. But on the second part of the play, how in the world, when Lionel Scaloni and his staff are putting together the defensive set pieces in a corner kick, they say, Lisandro Martinez, Gerson Mosquera. Lisandro Martinez, Gerson Mosquera. Lisandro Martinez, Gerson Mosquera. That ball got hung up at the back post, and he dunked on him. I mean, he left him behind, dunked on him, and you're thinking, how does that make sense? Because this is one of the few things that you can prepare for is the matchups in corner kicks. How is that an actual decision made by the staff? So the lack of attention to detail by Argentina in this match, I thought was exposed by Colombia. And James Rodriguez continues to be the story. Was the story in the assist in that first goal, was the story in the penalty kick, but was also the story in the fact that he gave the pass to Nicol Gonzalez for the Argentina goal. And yet, people in Colombia won't remember that one bit, because what they think and know and love about James Rodriguez is that when the penalty kick happened, the one guy that they know should be taking that penalty kick is James Rodriguez. He took it as well as he could have. Perfect in the execution. Colombia win it. I think it's a big, big win for Colombia.
We've been kind of asking the question on this show, not just throughout the summer when they were having the great Copa America, but in light of the recent results, is Colombia a true World Cup, not maybe favorite, but among the favorites, right? And if you actually look at the odds makers say no. You think they are?
Absolutely.
Odds makers say Brazil. How do you want to explain that one?
Say what you go and ask.
Big betting market, I guess.
You go and ask the manager of France, Spain, England, Germany. Do they want Colombia? Mm-hmm. No, they don't want any part of Colombia. Nothing.
Why specifically?
How long have we got? Well, you watched. Listen, this was a fantastic game from start to finish. Personally, I love CONMEBOL. It's like a bit old school. The competitiveness.
Oh, I love you, Steve.
And the way the game's refereed as well.
It's a little. They swallow their whistles.
Well, you're like that all the time. There's no downtime. There's no. Everybody's at it. They don't like each other. It's quite clear, regardless of whether he's your teammate in a club match. They'll kick lumps out of each other for fun.
Yeah.
And the level of play is fantastic. I mean, everything about it's great. And for Argentina, yes, I agree with Ali. They made some mistakes, but then what the best teams do is they take advantage of mistakes, regardless of whether it's Argentina or Finland or anybody else. They take advantage. But the whole thing was brilliant to watch. As I said, I love it because it takes me a wee bit back in time to where it was about everything. It was about great play. It was about great players. It was about goals. The crowd was brilliant. The atmosphere. I mean, it was just.
Yeah, where in South America is Scotland located? My geography is way off.
You know, the mistakes aside, the corner kick and not rushing James Rodriguez, not pressuring him, the penalty kick they give up. I actually thought Argentina were pretty decent, and I was very interested in how they were going to line up with no Messi. because that's really a big part of this story here is life after Messi for Argentina. And they went two up top, Julián Álvarez and Lautaro Martinez. And
One shot on target.
they were dangerous, though. If you watch this game, there's one where Julián Álvarez pressures Camilo Vargas, the goalkeeper for Colombia, picks his pocket, decides to shoot with the left instead of the right, and the ball trickles across the net. There's another one, Julián Álvarez. Martinez, the one that Julián Álvarez gives him, a 1v1 opportunity. He steps on it.
Aye.
Yeah, so they had their opportunities. They were actually very decent. I love Nicol Gonzalez, and what he's been able to accomplish since he moved from Fiorentina, or since his Fiorentina time last season, to now he's taking advantage of No Angel Di Maria. This looks more like a team that's difficult to play against. They pressure you very well. But you ask Stevie, why are they so difficult to play against Colombia? They can beat you so many different ways. I mean, you saw 2 set-piece goals today. They could move the ball with these in the final third. They can play pretty football. They can be direct. They have players on set pieces that are some absolute trees. They've got a very special player in James Rodriguez with that left foot who puts the ball anywhere he wants. Luis Diaz, whether it's his day or not, you have to be mindful of. He's an X factor. And what blows my mind is when you look at the roster that this team has and look at where these players play, Camilo Vargas plays in Atlas in Mexico. Some of these players, the best place or platform they have is Crystal Palace in the Premier League.
Cucho Hernandez called in.
Cucho Hernandez called in. So you get quality performances, with all due respect, almost out of nowhere. And they are so, so difficult to play against. Much so that the last team not named Argentina to beat them was 2 years ago, January 28th, 2 years ago. 90-minute games because they lost in overtime in the Copa America final. 30 straight games undefeated. This is a very difficult team to play against, and one that if today the World Cup was going, would be a candidate.
And to all of that, you add the fact that how do we play James Rodriguez? Because you have guys around him like Richard Rios, like Jefferson Lerma that are going to do the work. Yeah. Arias as well. Guys that will do the work so that James can give you the magic. And all of that works as long as James is giving you the magic. And I tell you, among the very outstanding performances of Colombia, and if you can highlight many players, but the work, and I love them in Copa America. Richard Rios, for me, is one of the, I guess, most underappreciated players in South America. He has been outstanding for a while for this national team because he's a true presence both in the defensive half and the attacking half. But in the defensive half in particular, what he does is that it covers and runs the space that James is not willing and is not going to run for you. And so the job of Lerma, Rios, Arias, those guys, they make it so very difficult for other teams because they're working this way and they're working this way as well. They're getting up there, they're getting back, and then they're covering side to side. It's a really good team that is structured really well and is playing with a lot of confidence.
All that work gets Colombia the 2-1 victory over Argentina in